Alright guys, welcome back to Wealth and Travel on a Dime. So today we're going to show you guys how to sell covered calls on Robinhood. This is going to be beginning to end. So if you want to see how the trades turned out, make sure you stay to the end of the video. So when we're doing covered calls, we are selling an option. Now, we don't do buying options, so we don't buy calls, all right? All you have to do is go in Robinhood, look at the odds differences. One side you have like a 50 to 100% chance of making money. The other side you have a 50 to 0%. You want to be on the selling side because that's where the odds are most in your favor. Now, basic housekeeping notes. To sell a covered call, you need to own 100 shares of the stock that you want to sell a call on. Now, why would you sell a call on it? Well, some people do it to create income off stocks they already own. Okay, they sell them way out of the money. They can hold the stocks. A lot of times those are like dividend stocks or stocks they really like. And then they'll just make a little premium off the top. All right. For us, that's not what we do. We sell puts and then run the wheel strategy once we get assigned by selling calls. All right, because we want to get back out of the position and start the wheel over again. Now, the reality is you can sell at whatever level you want. It's obviously make sure you sell at least for what you have in them, which is your cost basis. I personally, when running the wheel strategy, whatever I get assigned, generally speaking, that's what I sell at. It just makes it easy. I can keep the cost basis straight in my head, and I'm making premium on both sides. So now we're going to get into it. I'm going to walk you step by step through it, and then we're going to come back and see how the trades turned out. All right, guys, so we're at market open now. It is 9:30 in the morning, Eastern time, Monday morning. And when we open up and look to sell a cover call, like I said, you have to have 100 shares. So we're going to go down and we're going to do it on UNG. All right, so you can see that UNG, I have 400 shares. So I can sell calls on 400 shares, which is 4 contracts. Now, you see my average cost here says $14.99. That is adding the premium I've made selling puts on these back in. So you can't go by that. I was assigned at $15.50 a share, so that's what we're going to sell on. So now what we're going to do is hit trade, and then we're going to hit trade options, and that's going to open our options chain. Now before you do anything else, you need to look at the top of the screen, and you need to do this every single time because whatever platform you on, it can jump around and give you different options at the top. You need to make sure everything's in order. So the first thing you do is hit sell. I never hit buy, it's always sell. And then over here, we've got calls or puts. We are doing calls today. So I have calls highlighted. Now, this stock has different dates. So some stocks and ETFs will have a 30-day. Some stocks and ETFs will have a week-long expiration dates. Some have daily. This one has Wednesday and Friday. So July 16th is in 3 days, which is Wednesday. Now we want to sell a call at the $15.50. So we click the $15.50. Let's go back to the option chain so you guys can see that again. Right now the price is $15.31, but our cost basis is $15.50. We have a 70% chance of profit here. Now if you look, the bid ask is 20 to 23 cents. Now that's per share, so that's equivalent to $20 because remember there's 100 shares in each contract. So you hit sell, all right, and it moved to 21. Now the lower towards the bid that you go, the more likely you're going to get it. So we need to go to the top here and set it for 4 contracts because we have 400 shares. It's currently at 22, so we'll hit review and swipe up to submit. Boom, filled. So look at this screen. We made $87.84 after fees, but basically we made $88 that got paid to us now. We got paid right now. That money's in my account. And these shares are on the line until Wednesday. So we're going to go back to the main screen so you can see where they went. It still shows we own them, But if you come here, you can see the UNG $15.5 call out to 716 for sells. All right, and its current value is 20 cents. Now this is going to fluctuate. It doesn't really matter. Now, you can see here our average credit per contract was 22 cents per share, which means $22 per contract because there's 100 shares in a contract, and we did 4 contracts. So this is very simple, but it doesn't stop here because yes, you got paid, but we need to see how this turns out. But for this alone, I made over 1% in 3 days. Now, you're not always that lucky. We strive for 0.5% every week. That way in a month, we make 2%. Now, by selling weekly, you actually have 52 weeks in a year. So that roughly comes out to about 25% on the money. Now, in 3 days, I will come back and I will show you how this turned out so you can actually see how it ends. Okay guys, it's Thursday and I just wanted to show you how this call turned out. So as you can see at the top here, UNG 15.5 call assignment, and it says positive almost $6,200. So let's click into it here. So we had our 4 contracts that we sold our call at. Now at the time that the price expired at 4:30, the price was $15.80, which is above our $15.5 call, which means the shares got called away. In other words, we sold them. Now, you don't get the $15.80. You've already got your premium in the beginning, and then you got your credit now for your shares at $15.50 a piece, which comes to $6,200, and then Robinhood takes its little fee. So when calls expire, generally there's only 2 things that are going to happen. Either the call you sold will get assigned, which is what happened here. Your shares will get called away. In our strategy, we then start selling puts and start the wheel strategy over again. The other thing that could happen is if it had ended at, say, $15.40, then our shares would not have got called away, and we would have just sold a new call and made more premium, once again, waiting until the shares get called away. So assignment on the call side is about the best thing that can happen to an option seller if you're not trying to keep the shares. Now, some people don't want this to happen because they want to keep their shares and just make a little extra income off the top. It's all about knowing how far out of the money to sell to do this correctly. So as you can see, it's Wednesday. This ended Wednesday evening. And now it's Thursday. So I took that money and redeployed it to make more money this week selling other puts for premium. So really, selling options is the perfect way to create income. All right, yes, at times you do have to own the shares, and yes, at times you may have to hold the shares and get lower premium, but the average throughout the year, you are going to make way more than market return without any doubt. Now, when selling calls, a lot of platforms will treat you differently. Some are easier to use, some are harder to use. I find Robinhood is very easy, and you don't have to be going through such crazy charts and stuff. Usually if you run out to the 90%, maybe 85% level when selling calls, you're going to be good. Same with puts. Now, I sell at the money because we run the wheel strategy, and I'll be making a video on that coming up very soon. It will take a little time because usually I'll sell puts for weeks on end, and then suddenly I'll get assigned like I did here. And then I sell a call, and a lot of times I'll either be in the calls for a while, making plenty of premium every week, just doing the same thing over and over, or like what happened today, I'll be in a calls for 1 week, it'll end up getting called away, and I start selling puts again. So I'm going to put together a video. I probably will have to sell a little more in the money than I usually do, just so it doesn't take 10 weeks to make the video. But I think you guys can easily see how profitable this is. Now, if I go back a screen here, I just kind of want to show you guys something. All these puts and call expirations, how they say 0, that means that if it's a put, I won the trade and they let my money they had on the line come back to me and I got to keep my premium. So nothing happened. And it's real easy to just see, you know, there's one of the UNG puts we just did. I mean, just look at them, guys. You take those and then we just spin them and sell calls and make money. So any of the ones you saw that were 0 are all winners. Now, that doesn't even include, you know, anything over just the past couple days. But we have months of data to go by here. So you really have to understand the system. Obviously, this part doesn't show you the weekly premium. But there's so much data set here that shows this works. And I would encourage you guys to learn more and start selling options as soon as possible to create an actual lasting income. So with that said, if you haven't already, and I don't know why you wouldn't have, go down, hit subscribe. Make sure you ring the little bell so you guys get all the notifications of all the upcoming videos. Leave us a like or a comment, and we will see you in the next one.